You're listening to the Tom Rowland Podcast. It's part of the Waypoint Outdoor Collective. Hey everybody, welcome to something new for this week. This is an update show. Even with social media, websites, email lists, everything else, I'm creating so much content right now that it's hard to tell everybody about it. Like, where is it? Where do you find it? What's going on? All right, so here's what's going to happen. I'm just going to tell you all the cool things that are going on for this week, and if we continue to have lots of things like this, I'll continue to do this little update show. But first update, I built a new studio. It's not much, but it is pretty cool. I think it offers a very consistent sound. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell the difference right away, but it's a small room that's covered in acoustic foam, got some cool tables, and it's going to be really cool. So looking forward to that. Got a place now that we can do podcasts if we need to. Don't always have to be on location. I'll continue to do that. I'll continue to go meet with people, but there's a cool place where I can do the How To Tuesdays and stuff like this anytime I want. So that's cool. New studio. The next thing is that coming up pretty soon, I think on Valentine's Day weekend, is the Miami Boat Show. I will be at the Miami Boat Show this year. I have not been going to the Miami Boat Show for the last few years because it has been right on the weekend that the state wrestling tournament has happened. As you may know, I have two boys that are wrestlers in high school, or they were wrestlers in high school, and the state tournament is what everybody lives for. That's it. The Miami Boat Show and the state tournament were always on the same weekend, so as my boys worked their tails off all year long to make it to this one tournament, man, I had to be there. So I'm sorry I've missed you at the Miami Boat Show the last few years if you go to that show. But sometimes you got to be at some things, and the state wrestling tournament is one of those things. But I will be there this year, and I would love to meet you. We will mostly be, Rich will be there too. Both of us will be in the Yellowfin booth mostly, the Mercury booth, and the Lowrance booth. Those are places where you could run into us. Stop by the Yellowfin booth. That's our home base at the Miami Boat Show, and we will be coming back there. You can check out all their cool boats. They got some cool stuff coming out at the Miami Boat Show, as they always do. But that's a place where you can actually meet me if you want to. So I'd love for you to come by. I think I'll also be holding workouts in the morning. Probably Thursday morning, Friday morning, and Saturday morning of the boat show, wherever our hotel is. And this is something that I do at ICAST, and we've had a number of people show up for those. If you want to do that, that's awesome. Watch for my social media, and I'll tell you the time and place. That's Tom_Rowland on Instagram, and that's where I'll announce that. So if you want to get in a workout together, that would be awesome. Love to have you. Okay, so now one more thing. This podcast has been incredibly successful, and I really, really am having a great time, and it's all thanks to you guys. Really appreciate all the great guest suggestions. I've learned so much, and I plan on continuing to do it. Waypoint TV has started to move into the podcast space, and they invited me to be part of the Waypoint Outdoor Collective. And the Waypoint Outdoor Collective is a network of podcasters, and they bring together like-minded people that have kind of similar podcasts, and you can subscribe to the Waypoint Outdoor Collective, and you can get a new show every day, and some really good ones. On the two of them, I've had the pleasure of having them on this podcast. One being Fish Strong podcast, which is Joe Simons and his brother Luke. And Joe was on the podcast here talking about his story of moving from having a high-paying job and not really feeling like he was all that fulfilled to moving into the fishing world and becoming very successful with Salt Strong. So he has a great podcast. Those guys do, both of them. And it's a great, great podcast. It comes out every single week, and they have some really great guests. Sometimes it's the same guests as we have over here, but not very often. He has a different approach of finding his guests than I do, and very good. I've been on that podcast twice, and you can hear those. So Fish Strong. We also have my friend Will Taylor has a new podcast, and he's a part of the Waypoint Outdoor Collective. He's got some great interviews, including me. I told some stories on his podcast that I've never told on this podcast, so you can check out that episode. Off Grid, a hunting podcast. That's a good one. And there are many, many more headed to the Waypoint Outdoor Collective. And just as they've collected a number of producers, I think over 70 now, for video, they're going to be collecting similar voices in the podcast space, doing kind of a similar thing. So I'm very excited about it. I've already seen about a 20% boost in the audience because of it. And I think it's really cool. I'm a big, big, big fan of the podcast world right now, and just feel honored to be a part of it. So that's the Waypoint Outdoor Collective. You can subscribe on iTunes. Search Waypoint Outdoor Collective if you're interested. Now, it will not change anything about how you find this podcast. However you're listening to this podcast right now, you will be able to continue to do so. It will not change anything at all about the podcast destinations other than add one more to it. So this isn't an instead of or anything like that. This is an adding to. So just one more destination out there, and I'm excited about it. So Waypoint Outdoor Collective, if you're interested, go check that out. More new stuff. All of our 2019 shows are being edited for broadcast on the networks, and we have been delivering them to Waypoint TV. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about, what networks we're going to be on. Are we still going to be on the networks? Are we on Waypoint TV? Where can people find our stuff? Okay, so we filmed an entire season. We have one more to film, and I'm getting ready to leave on Tuesday to go to Hawks Cay and film this one more show for the 2019 season. And all this season, we've gotten some of our best shows ever. We had some great guests, including Matt Hughes, 9-time world welterweight champion, my favorite fighter of all time. Got an opportunity to fish with him and find out how he's recovering from his interaction with a real live train. There's only one guy in the world that's tough enough to attack a train or have a train attack him and make it, and that's probably Matt Hughes. Anyway, that was a really fun show. I really enjoyed getting to spend some time with him and getting to know him a little bit. That one's coming out. Right now we have, I think, 5 shows on Waypoint TV, so you can go there and check out the Saltwater Experience channel. You can see those brand new shows before they go to the networks. And as far as the networks go, we're going to be on Sun Sports, as we always have been. Florida, very, very good network for the state of Florida. Still going to be there. Florida Sun Sports. We are on the Sportsman's Channel 52 weeks a year. So every week there's more Saltwater Experience, and now you're going to see the new episodes get sprinkled in. Very happy to be there as well. Then we have our largest platforms, which are NBC Sports, and the shows are on NBC Sports right now in the first quarter. And then the big news for this year is that we are going to be on Discovery Channel in the second quarter of the year. So I think that's April. It will start airing on the Discovery Channel. We're extremely excited about that. I think it's going to help to grow our audience a little bit, put us out in front of some other people. And this is maybe the largest network that we've ever been on, including back in the day when we were on ESPN2 and also on Versus and OLN, which eventually turned into NBC Sports. But very, very excited about being on the Discovery Channel, so I hope you'll check us out over there. And again, if you can't wait that long and you want to see the shows right now, awesome. They're on Waypoint, and you can go over there and check it out. Our social media. I've got a full-time team working on social media, and we are putting even more focus towards it. And the focus that we're putting towards it is really going back through our content and finding a lot of cool stuff that did not make it onto the show, and behind the scenes kind of stuff, um, stuff that just, it's only 22 minutes and 30 seconds. We shoot for days sometimes to get 22 minutes and 30 seconds. And when you take out all the bumpers and the tip from the pros and all that, not that much fishing. So there is a ton that doesn't ever get seen. So we've been starting to mine that, coming up with some pretty cool stuff. So I hope that you like that. There'll still be photos and new stuff and stuff about the podcast and stuff about anything that we're doing, but there'll be some new content. We're going to be posting a little more frequently over there. Instagram's my favorite, but we're on Facebook and Twitter as well. If that's your platform that you prefer, that's great. We're not going to forget about those, but Instagram's the best. And if you want to follow me personally, that's where I'm the most active on social media, with stuff about this podcast, with stuff about the show, with stuff about workouts, with stuff about whatever it is that I'm into. That is at Tom_Rowland. Follow me there, and that would be awesome. And then the podcast, like this podcast, man, there's so much cool stuff coming up. When we did our last shoot, and I feel like I just got all this stuff put away and edited and scheduled, and here I am getting ready to go do it again. I did 2 podcasts with Captains for Clean Water, learned a ton about what's going on in the state of Florida with the new governor and what that means as far as water quality and what we can expect. There's so much hope. I don't know if you've listened to the last podcast that I did with Daniel Andrews, but it was fantastic. I learned a ton. I hope you did as well. I have another one coming out next week that is with Chris Whitman, Benny Blanco, and a scientist from the Everglades Foundation that was also incredibly informative, and really, really happy to have been able to do those. I got one with Bouncer Smith. I got one with my friend Lane Norton, who is a PhD in nutrition. So I got to ask him all the questions that regular people want to ask a nutritionist. This guy is not just a nutritionist. He doesn't just talk the talk like so many people in the health and fitness world. He actually walks the walk. I mean, this guy was a powerlifting champion. He's been a bodybuilding champion. He knows how nutrition affects your body. He knows how to lose weight. He knows how to keep it off, and he knows how to keep it simple. And very excited about that one. I think a lot of people are going to really like that one, especially as it comes to New Year's resolutions and people look down and, belt's a little tight. Maybe this one will help you to get on track, or to satisfy these New Year's resolutions of getting back in shape or losing weight or whatever it is. Keeping it off is what we really talk about in this podcast. But I think that one's a really good one. I also talked to Rob Chapman, who owns Outdoor 360, about the impact of social media on the outdoors. That was interesting to me. Miles Berghoff, Sonar Fishing, the host of Sweetwater Television, came in. It was the first one to do a podcast in the new studio. That was cool. Russell Kleppinger, he caught 814 tarpon last year, getting a lot of good feedback. That one's this week's episode is Russell, and he's Fish Russ on Instagram if you want to go check him out before you listen to it, see if it's worth your time. And then I also did one with Jessica Dixie Mills, who is a Triple Crowner. That means that she did the Appalachian Trail from start to finish, the Pacific Crest Trail from start to finish, and the Continental Divide Trail from start to finish. And that's about 8,000 miles of hiking. She really knows a little bit about hiking, but she didn't always know much about hiking. And that's the interesting part of the story, that she just kind of jumped on this thing and did it. And I really, really like talking to her. It was great. Now, with the Miami Boat Show coming up, anytime that we have these kind of shows, it's a great opportunity for me to get some time with somebody that I might not be able to interact with normally. And So I have 10 podcasts scheduled um, in and around this boat show. So 10 more with people that, man, I don't want to announce who they are before they're actually on the podcast, but there's some good ones, some really good ones. So this year, 2019, is getting started really well with all the podcasts coming up and more guests. So many of these guests have come to me from your own emails that you sent to me at podcast@saltwaterexperience.com. If you've got other guests, hit me up on social media. Instagram is what I prefer, or send me send me an email. Send me an email at podcast@saltwaterexperience.com and let me know if there's somebody that you want me to track down, and I'll try to do it. This has been an incredibly busy week. I don't know that we're going to do this update show every week. Man, I hope that it's as busy and we're producing so much that I have to do this. But I just thought, you might like to know where all this new stuff's going and what's in the pipeline and what's coming up, because really cool stuff. And I would just want to thank you to each and every one of you that's listening to this and cares anything about what we're putting out there. I want it to be good. I want to put out there the kind of stuff that you want to hear. So let me know what you think about it. And until next week, man, there's a lot of things that you can go and do. You can go and subscribe to the Waypoint Collective. You can go to the Miami Boat Show. You can meet us there. You can subscribe to this podcast. You can leave a rating and review in both places. That'd be awesome. You can go to Waypoint and check out our new shows. You can go and follow us on social media and check out all those posts. And there are, how many? I don't know, 55 different podcasts that you can go listen to now, plus all the How To Tuesdays, and so many more headed your way. So I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. And thank you for being a part of it.